You're listening to Vet Synapse, a podcast connecting the world of research, innovation, and practical help to the veterinary profession. I'm your host, Dr. Philip Judge from Vet Education. Let's get connected with Vet Synapse. Hi everyone, it's Philip here from Vet Education. What I thought we'd talk about today is a short book review, and the book we're reviewing today is this one here. It's Small Animal Fluid Therapy, Acid-Base and Electrolyte Disorders by Elisa Mazzaferro. It's a few years old now. The book was published in 2013, but despite that age, there's a few good features that I want to just point out in the book. It's a relatively short book, about 191 pages long. Being a handbook, it doesn't go into the same sort of depth of discussions with regards to fluid therapy and acid-base balance and so on as some of the more extensive texts, but it is still reasonably good as far as a reference for basic fluid therapy is concerned. The book opens with a really good chapter on the basics of fluid dynamics, fluid compartments, electrolyte composition within cells and the extracellular environment and so on. And it follows that chapter up with a very, very practical chapter on intravenous fluid techniques, intraosseous fluid techniques, and so on. And it's annotated with some really, really nice diagrams, so really nice high-quality color images with really nice keys to those images as well. It also talks about fluid therapy complications and also introduces the concept of maintenance fluid therapy being linked to resting energy requirements, which is something that was initially proposed for at least the veterinary patients, small animal veterinary patients that were looking after by the American Animal Hospital Association back in 2013. So it ties in nicely with that. And, you know, some of the aims of that fluid therapy technique is really just to reduce the likelihood of fluid overload in patients that are on maintenance fluids. The book then follows up with a really nice chapter on transfusion medicine, both in terms of blood collection, blood typing, cross-matching, and blood administration to patients. Clear, concise descriptions of what we need to do when collecting and administering blood to patients. The latter part of the book deals primarily with blood gas abnormalities, electrolyte disorders. There's a chapter on parenteral nutrition in there as well. And the book finally finishes off with a number of case studies, which really just highlight the various aspects of fluid therapy that are discussed within the main text of the book. Overall, the text is very, very easy to read. You won't get bogged down in a lot of detail. As mentioned before, being a handbook, it perhaps lacks some of the detailed discussions and descriptions and pathophysiology of some more extensive references. But for an introductory text to fluid therapy, it is very, very good for providing a base level of understanding of quite a wide range of fluid therapy options in dogs and cats. Now, I mentioned this book was published in 2013, and as a result, given it's 2020 now, science has moved on in a couple of areas. The descriptions of the use of synthetic colloids, for example, monitoring using central venous pressure, and the description of Starling's forces are now probably considered outdated based on what we currently know as far as fluid dynamics are concerned, the new Starling paradigm, and the questionable reliability of central venous pressure in terms of detecting vascular fullness or the relative vascular fullness following resuscitation therapy. So in those areas, these chapters are probably best ignored and replaced by more current reference text. However, having said that, as we've already mentioned, this is quite a useful introductory text. If you bear in mind those other things that we've just mentioned, the remainder of the book remains quite a useful resource, particularly in terms of the practical aspects that are discussed with intravenous or vascular access techniques, fluid administration techniques, intraosseous, for example, the descriptions of blood transfusions, parenteral nutrition, and so on are really, really pretty helpful. In addition, there's quite a large number of tables and charts in the book that help compartmentalize differential diagnoses, the flowcharts in the book are reasonably useful as well. So if you're after a resource that provides a bit of a visual cue as to what's going on, this is quite a useful text as far as that is concerned. So that's my review of Small Animal Fluid Therapy, Acid Base and Electrolyte Disorders by Elisa Mazzaferro. I hope you find the review helpful, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Vet Synapse. If you like this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with your friends and colleagues. Make sure to visit our website at veteducation.com.au for more great content and to experience the latest online race-approved veterinary continuing education.